Well, I work my fingers to the bone, I never get to go home. This is my ever wanted life, manifest destiny. I work my fingers to the bone, I never get to go home. This is my ever wanted life, manifest destiny. Damn, I destroyed myself, but you contributed. I destroyed myself, but you helped.
Hello, everybody. This is Johnathan Grissom of Morebands Media and the local Earshot podcast. This is the Halloween special episode, and today I have on...
I'm Canon Lee. Thanks for having me.
Canon Lee. And then Wilson's in the house.
Yep.
How you doing?
Again.
Yeah.
Back at it.
All right. Okay. So just starting out, kind of like how we, how I actually know you, is that we're both students over at the ACM college, and we're in like a sound class together. So we had to do like, what was it, like messing with soundboards yesterday. That was interesting. Yeah. And so that's kind of how I know you. Yeah. So kind of go over like who you are and how you got into music, and then like what kind of led you up to this point.
So I write a lot of music. Mainly, that's kind of what I consider myself as a songwriter. But I do play guitar and I sing, and I play in a band. Been playing with these guys for a few years. I try to keep a couple of different musicians in my pocket, like a couple different drummers, a couple different bass players, just for different things. But I got started in music when I was about 16. My little brother asked my dad to bring his drum kit to the house out of storage. And so he brought that over, and I got really into the drums. And my little brother didn't end up really playing them a whole lot, but I did. And I had a buddy that played guitar, and we jammed a lot. And then eventually I wanted to start learning guitar, so he taught me a few little riffs. And I just kind of took off from there, and immediately started writing songs and kind of figured out that I sort of had a voice. And just for whatever reason, it just came pretty naturally to me to just like sing and play guitar and like write melodies and lyrics and stuff. And then, yeah, I've been doing it ever since. So about 17, 18 years.
17, 18 years? That's a long time. How many bands have you played with and stuff? I might have to grab my cat. I thought she'd be all right, but she's trying to get up into everything.
She's curious.
Yeah.
She's like, who is this and whose shoes are these?
Yeah. But yeah, so Jesus Christ. It won't get on the recording. That's the weird thing. If you hear that.
Oh yeah, the weed eater.
Yeah, it won't get on the recording. Because we I know in our old studio we used to have planes fly over all the time, and we'd hear them, and then like we'd be like, God, son of a bitch, and then we'd go to listen to it, and it wouldn't even be there. Yeah. So I don't know how that even works, like why it doesn't get on there at all.
If it was a condenser mic, I feel like it would.
Oh yeah. Like back whenever we used to record with condensers, like that's why I swear by dynamics, because like whenever I used to use condensers, I'd get like the whole room sound, and literally it would just be like like you would hear the TV of like the guy that I would do the show with. His wife would be watching TV inside the other room, and we literally would hear it on the recordings. And so like the first like 20 episodes or something like that, like we could hear stuff like that in the background, and I had to like do like these little sound tricks to try to pull that sound out. And that was a pain in the ass. But okay, so where do you primarily play? Like
I play at different venues. I played at just various places in Norman. I play for like different events a lot of times. Like there's the Norman Twilight Market that happens, and that's a really cool event. And they have a lot of different vendors that, you know, they showcase their products, and it's just like a really cool community that brings Norman together. And they always have food trucks. There's several thousand people out there every month, and I've been lucky enough to get acquainted with them.
That's a monthly, but they almost call it like a swap meet over there by the fairgrounds? Is it somewhere else?
No, it's actually at the new Cleveland County Wellness Square, that green building over by the train tracks, right by the courthouse.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And yeah, that's a really cool thing in Norman. And they've had me on quite a few times. And I play for like the Norman Music Festival. I've been playing for that for a long time.
Did you just submit this year? You're going to go do it this year?
I haven't submitted yet. I still have some time. I think it's like November. Yeah, 20th or something
20th?
like that.
Yeah, it's coming up.
So it's on my to-do list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need to submit for media because like every year, for like the last like 2 years, like we've been doing media for it and going out there and just taking photos and everything of all the different artists and just meeting with them and all that, and then just doing a lot of like just filming and recording and all that kind of stuff.
That's what's up.
Yeah, it kind of stuck. I took like, I think because I lumped it and I had like recordings. I had like like hours of just recordings, and then I had like thousands of photos.
Yeah.
And I uploaded some stuff to online, but I did not upload even like close to what I had on my computer. And so I just have all these like and I'm really bad about that. I go to events and I like take pictures and videos and stuff, and then I'll end up never uploading it all.
Right.
And that's the problem that I have with content. And
I totally feel that. But I feel like there's a small percentage of stuff that you actually want to. Like, you know, if you take 100 photos, 10 of them are going to be good. At least that's been my outcome. Maybe I'm not super photogenic, but...
Yeah. But I don't know, like, because I know Wilson knows a lot about this stuff, like, for the film and stuff. But, like, why do photographers and film people just, like, run across the stage, just click, 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 click all fast and shit? And, like, and knowing that 90% of what they just took is not going to be used.
It's because 10% is...
Well, it helps having like plenty of things to work from, because in any given situation, just like if you're in a recording studio, right, and you can have the ability to choose from like any instrument to play from, it gives you options, and that's what everybody looks for in both photography and recording video is options. That's why they have like 3 cameras set up, and you've got like the wide angle camera here, and then you've got one on like the lead singer, and then the other is like the guy that walks around on stage carrying the camcorder, and he's getting like up close to the drummer, to the bass player, is because you want coverage of everything. Because if you just relied on one particular stream, it's only getting that, and if anything happens to that, you're messed up, you know? It's part of it. So like photographers, like a wedding photographer will get like 30,000 fucking photos for some reason. But you realize that they're capturing like every kind of moment that you can think of, because it's only going to happen the one time. And I think that if people looked at live shows a lot like that, like you're only getting to do it this one time, so you might as well do it as best you can, then it makes up for it. As far as like having all the content later and going through it and uploading it, that's why so many people hire their own social media people now, because it's a lot to do. It's a whole ass job. It's not like, you know, and I do encourage everybody to still do it, like have an Instagram account, like either of you or of your band, and upload the photos regularly, and have somebody giving you footage on the back end and uploading that to you later, or have people like take recordings from Snapchat and send it to you. Then you can upload that same video into Instagram as well if you wanted to. But realistically, it's just coverage. That's what it all is. It's just coverage. They've got like a minimum of like 25 cameras at the Macy's Day Parade. You know, because it's like a whole street, you know, it's they have to record from every angle, and there's a lot of different floats and a lot of live performances, and they have all that on standby. And it's crazy because they have one guy sitting at the switchboard, and the switchboard's like the size of this fucking couch, and all he has to do is press a button and it takes you to a completely different place. So it's cool having different options and different things to go through, because the one thing that people hate is not having anything. I've been to weddings and I didn't get any photos, and you know, it's like missing out on the moment kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. The reason why I even thought of that was because like I was at a show at Grand Royale, and this guy, like Oklahoma hardcore type people, it's like the more heavier like death metal type stuff. Cool, this guy had a camera, and apparently like he grabs it and he just he grabs it and he slides it in front of the artist, and he just like right up on him, and he just like moves the camera real quick, and he takes a picture, and and I guess it was explained to me because I was like, why would he even do that? You know, like that's stupid. Like if you're gonna take a photo, like we know JD Scott, photographer here in Oklahoma, does a lot of concert photography. He's very intricate in how he takes photos. Like he really times them. He walks up. He gets his perfect view. He takes his pictures. But this guy like was just running up on him and going like this with the camera real quick and just moving it. And my buddy, he said that the reason why he's doing that is because apparently in that scene they like to see all the lights around them in movement. So the photos aren't perfect. They're not meant to be perfect. They're meant to be hardcore. And so art, it's part of the art of whatever that is. And so I was like, it's like I don't understand why somebody would, you know, there. But then like photographers like JD or Mary Ellis, like they really do, like they do all the photos at like, you know, the Diamond Ballroom, and they're doing like these real intricate photos where they're getting like them into the scene of what they're doing, and so they'll catch the artist at that moment when no one else is seeing it, but they're seeing that moment that is going to probably end up in like a magazine or something like that. Like they're seeing that, you know? Yeah. And so a lot of times those photos are used for like their online persona, stuff like that. Cause I did notice that about you, that like you had a lot of, images that you had like by the truck and things like that. So, like what genre do you classify yourself as, and like where, like what styles of music do you draw from whenever you're creating?
That's a good question. I actually, I know I'm not supposed to do this or be this or whatever you want to call it, but I have many genres that I like to explore, and it works for me. And I think that the different songs that I have are still powerful enough, strong enough, hooky enough, whatever you want to call it, that it's not like I'm just like trying hard to be this and then trying hard to be that. It's just like I'm doing what comes natural in that domain. So like I have like the song that I just released that's almost country, but I don't really sing super country. There's a little bit of draw in my voice like that comes out naturally at a couple points in the song, but it's not really, it's just very on the verge of country. But what I like to call it is like I write rock music, rock/pop music with flavors of other things, like a flavor of country in that circumstance, or a lot of my stuff has like a blues influence to it, and some of my stuff is just more rock based. You know, I have a song that is very like almost emo, hardcore kind of sounding. It was just something that I was just trying to follow. I like to just follow something where it wants to go. And so if something wants to go in this direction, I'm not just going to like try to like tame it and like keep it in a box of like, okay, this is my style and this is my genre. And that's part of the reason why I want to be a producer as well, because I kind of understand the big picture. And I hear like Rick Rubin talk a lot about the way that I conceptualize music and materialize music is really similar to the way when I hear him talk on podcasts, I'm like, I know exactly what you're talking about. And so I think for that reason, it would make me a good producer. And that's why I want to help other people as well produce their music, because I kind of just see the big picture of how, you know, what good art is. And it's totally different. It varies. You know, everybody has different tastes, but at the end of the day, you want to do what excites you and what is fun for you. And if it's exciting for me to like mess around with this genre and just kind of take it, like see where it wants to go, you know, a good song writes itself, I believe. And like sometimes you just wake up and you're just like singing a song. Like I have this song called I'm a Record, and it's on Spotify or wherever, but I literally woke up and I just started singing the lyrics and the melody all at the same time. And then I kind of went downstairs and like put the guitar to it. But like songs, they just like kind of manifest whenever in like opportunities in your life, like different times in your life, and you're just kind of harnessing something. So a very long-winded explanation of like I have different genres that I like to delve into, but it's all very soulful is I think the kind of the key word, because my voice is very open and from the diaphragm and soulful with a little bit of grit. You
do have a what do you call it? Like a distinctive voice whenever you're singing. Like I noticed that because like whenever like we're in class and stuff, like basically what our teacher does is kind of cool. He makes us set up the equipment, right? Something that one of my old computer teachers used to do. He makes us set up the equipment, and then he says, "Hey, let's have some fun," and then he just tells everybody just randomly grab equipment, just grab gear and stuff and just start playing. And sometimes it's pretty interesting because you'll get people up there that definitely don't know much about the instruments,
right.
And then you get someone that actually knows about the instrument. So I'm sitting there like listening to you play and stuff, and you're sitting there playing blues guitar and stuff, and I'm like, okay, this person actually knows how to play the instrument, and then whenever you actually like did that first like little performance and stuff, I was like, we were all like, damn, like you can sing, like you can send your voice across that room, like it filled the room, which is great. Because like not everybody can do that. Like not everybody has that. Sometimes they have to turn up the mics on people because they don't sing loud enough. But it's like it's almost like you kind of notice the sound of the room that you're in, and then you're just like, okay, this is what I have to do at this vocal level, and stuff.
Unleash the beast, man. You just got to let it out.
Yeah, and just sing, sing from your heart, your soul. And I mean, and like that's one thing I do enjoy about going to school there. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to go next semester because I run out of GI Bills. So, like that's kind of a problem when it comes to the military money that I'm getting. Yeah. Like it becomes a problem to be able to go back to school there. But because I'll end up going, but then I'll end up on academic probation because I won't pay my tuition for like $3,000 of it or something because I only get $3,000 from the government. So, we can probably play one of your songs now.
Sure.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to get in the groove of like what questions to ask right now because I haven't done an interview in like over a month, so I'm kind of rocky right now.
Totally all good.
But
I actually kind of wanted to rewind a bit. I wanted to touch on what we were talking about before. I think this is an interesting point of like the content, the amount that you get versus the amount that you share, and I think that a lot of people, people that want to write songs or play an instrument or do anything. Maybe it's take pictures or, paint or any kind of art or really any endeavor in life. It's like, you're going to fail. And I mean, I know this is a common thing that we hear all the time, like Will Smith and, like there's that quote that he had and just like, maybe he's a bad example to use now because he made a mistake, but
no, that shit slaps.
I'm not even like really following it at this point because like it threw me off that she said that she had never you never knew him. At some point, we're just going to realize that Will Smith was just a simulation and that he was never real in the first place. Yeah. Like that's where it's headed because like they are becoming weirder and weirder on how they explain how they don't even know each other.
Okay,
who doesn't know each other?
Will Smith and his ex, like Jada. Really? Oh, yeah, the way that she talks in interviews, she basically said that she's never met Will Smith.
Oh my!
Like
God.
at one point, and it's like, what are you talking about?
That's got to be a slap in the face, man.
Really,
the fact that you were at an event where a dude got where a fucking comic got smacked in the face, and then they have the nerve to say that she doesn't even know you or that she never even met you.
Bro, the whole situation is toxic. Okay, everything about their family seems pretty fucking toxic.
Really,
and I don't mean like because they started saying a lot of shit right after the Oscars, and they had all their tweets deleted afterwards because they're like, no, this is just going to stir the pot, whatever. It's just like, and I see this a lot with performers too, and talking about like content, the amount that you create. I've come to the realization now, it doesn't matter how much content you make if you're not actually marketing it either. Like you can create as many like small videos like for what we do here, but if you're not going to boost it for like $50 a month or like actually put it through the proper channels to get it recognized, then people don't really see it.
Yeah.
So, and that works a lot with the other algorithms too. Like with YouTube, it's like if you post a video every Thursday at noon, same time every time, you have a more likely chance to see it firsthand on the feed that comes up with everybody else whenever they log on. So it's tricky like that. And there's a really toxic relationship when it comes to the amount of content that's being made versus what's actually being seen and what's considered useful. And a lot of it is like with podcasts too. I mean, after COVID, you know, and around the time that we started this, a lot of everybody and their dog started a podcast, but not many of them actually like stick to it and, you know, record every week.
Yeah.
So a lot of people give up, and then, you know, that's just kind of like how the market fluctuates too. But I think like it's even more important in songwriting to get like the materials that you have to the people that need it most. We were talking with Gentry Counts here on the show a couple of weeks ago, yeah?
It was a while back. That's what I was saying. I haven't done an interview in over a month.
Right.
That's what I was saying is that like I like fell off the wagon for a little bit because I like literally did not do anything. And but I was doing other content. I was posting things online and things like that. I was telling people that I'm you know, building the playlist for the Halloween episode which I'm going to play after this episode. And I mean, like the problem is, I think, when it comes to content creation, and this is something that I run into all the time, is what platforms are the best to do, and what kind of content is best to put out. Yeah. And then you have like situations like even last night or the other night, one of our teachers, Chad, that does like booking and stuff. I don't know if you've had him, but Chad Whitehead. So like he does the booking at Beer City Music Hall, and they had and I actually watched this documentary. It's a really good documentary to watch. It's called Dig. It's about the Jamestown Massacre band. Apparently they've been around since like the 90s or late 80s, and the lead singer is known for being a dick. Like you watch the documentary and you go, oh, so this guy's just an asshole. Didn't even know who this band was. Yet apparently they're pretty popular inside the underground punk and like certain rock scenes and stuff like that. They're popular in the underground, and so like the other night he was at their venue, and he was on stage, and some person was heckling him. He was mad about the sound. He basically said, like, F your sound guy. Like he was yelling at their sound guy. And then apparently the sound guy is one of the best in Oklahoma. So it's like what the fuck you think you are? Yeah. And then he started yelling at his drummer and his band, telling them they're all worthless and stuff, that he could do this all on his own. And they're not producing the sound that he created, which is something that in the documentary they talk about a lot apparently. Yeah. So this guy's so absorbed with his own like personality that he believes that the music should sound exactly how he wrote it. If it doesn't, it's not good enough, right? And he will cuss out people. Apparently he's made rape jokes during shows about raping women in the audience, like before in like Texas. Well, his line from last night that basically made them go, you could load out your own damn equipment and get the fuck out of our venue, was because he said to somebody in the audience, said some shit to him and said, what, you want to go? Because apparently, according to the documentary, people in the audience try to start fights with this guy all the time because he intentionally starts fights with the fans, with the people in the audience. So they go to the show just to see if he'll break down and destroy the show. And they'll literally destroy like instruments and all sorts of stuff. So it's almost like watching like the Who destroy instruments, you know? Like, and so like he's just this person that there's just intentionally like, there's this drama-filled thing that why people go there.
That's the quirk, huh?
Yeah, that's his quirk, apparently. And apparently when they booked him, I don't know if they knew that was his quirk, but there's literally a documentary on it that you can watch on YouTube called Dig that literally shows the whole time. And there's another band called what do you call it? Damn, I forgot the other name of the other band, but this other band that they used to play with, they left that band. They became part of Capitol, and then Massacre became on Capitol Records, and Capitol was like trying to basically get rid of them all the time. Like, but he was making money and he was producing records, and so they didn't really go after him like they should have. And but last night or night before, he said to somebody in the audience, he said like, I'll come down there and I'll blow you up like the Murrah Federal Building. Oh. And if you're an Oklahoman, from that era,
Wow.
there's literally death threats being sent to him online now
Yeah.
that are saying like, you ever step foot in Oklahoma again, we're gonna fucking kill you. Like, and these people are that pissed about that statement, and it's like, but then if you watch the documentary and then you hear about it afterwards, because I didn't know about the documentary until after I got home, because my housemate, which I guess you know from the past, but like Jamie Henna, but like she said that like there's a documentary online, and I was like, okay, and I watched it last night, and I'm like, oh, this all makes sense now. The dude just says things during shows to rile up the audience and piss everybody off, and he likes to bash cities and like to say really fucked up shit. I don't think that's a stick. I don't think that's proper content.
It's not It's not a positive shtick. I mean, it might be a shtick, but it's not a good one. And here's the thing: is like no matter what you're trying to accomplish in life, whether it's music or whatever career you're trying to pursue and be successful in, this is why it's so important to focus on your mental health and to understand brain chemistry. And we have people like Andrew Huberman and different people, and we have the internet that we can figure out how to navigate life in a more positive way using what we understand about brain chemicals. But what he's done is he's fixated on he gets his dopamine and his different norepinephrine, all these different chemicals from he gets in a way, let's just say it simply, he gets a delight out of pissing people off. Yeah. Is what it comes down to, and through that he's created a loop for himself that keeps him wanting to do that so that he can continue to get his fix. Because in life, I mean, whether you're addicted to drugs or not, I mean, it's very similar rather to being addicted to drama. You can be addicted to drama, or you can be addicted to having a good interaction or having positive things. And, you can achieve success through, hey, like I released a song and it feels good. And, now, being, having a good time through the whole process of creating a song and like really enjoying each little thing and wanting to improve it and giving yourself those little small wins throughout the way will help fixate your dopamine system to continue on that cycle. So there's different ways to use the brain and the chemicals to navigate life, if you will. But some people, they don't control it. It controls them. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like that's kind of where he's at. But what I was getting at with the content, like making so much content, is like you have to continue to do that, and it's like, yes, inspiration will come, but only when you put in the work. Mm-hmm. Like you have to show up every day. Like it's this common misconception that like, oh, only, and I used to kind of think this way, is like only good songs will come to me, and I would write good songs, but like I didn't do as much as I could be, and I didn't release as much as I could be and everything else. But I've started to like actually kind of force myself into that. Like, okay, today I'm going to show up, and if whether or not I strike gold, I'm going to do it again tomorrow, and eventually I know I'll strike gold, and I'll strike more gold than if I just am walking through the river and just, oh, there's some gold, Right. It doesn't work that way. But like a lot of people, don't realize that you're gonna fail. You're not 10% of what you do maybe is gonna be super awesome, but recognizing that 10%, and like Wilson said, is actually taking that, solidifying it, and sticking with it and seeing it through to the end, and then promoting it and doing what because if nobody hears it, I mean, it's important to do it for yourself, but like, we would all like to be successful in whatever thing we enjoy doing. Right. So at that point, it's time to share it with other people who could maybe get some value out of it. Mm-hmm. And if you're not doing that process, then you might as well, it's a hobby for you. It's not a career. It's not something that's a profession to you. And that's fine too, but
yeah.
Well, and I think
understand that.
It's a bigger thing in life too. Like it's, I think all the time about like this, there's like this one little motivational quote or whatever from this coach talking about like, here's what you should know about winning before you pursue it. It doesn't care about you. It doesn't care about like how much sleep you get It doesn't care about how hard you try. And, you know, it can plant fear and doubt in your mind. And everything can always seem like it's against you. But the only real choice is, like, why would you chase this thing called winning? It's because the only other option to that is losing. You know? So you have to keep failing at things, and you have to keep doing things over and over again. And, like, I think it's crazy and it's unfair in life that you can dedicate all of your time to something and it still not work out. Whether it's a career or a marriage or, you know, anything. Yeah. And you won't find success with, but it's also because it's not promised to anybody that we have a lot of freedom in that too, because that means that we could always find something else. We have these different choices. Yeah. We have a full life to where we can choose to embark on so many different things. And that's what keeps us from being limited as well. Definitely. So it's like, would you rather choose to only do one thing for the rest of your life and be successful with that, or would you rather have the option to do anything in life and maybe be successful with anything? And I think a lot of people don't really think about it that way. And that's the way it comes down to, like, content and other things too. Yeah. We also find our strong suits. Like, I've known guys who, you know, couldn't play guitar to save their life, but then they pick up the drums and it's like nothing to them. Yeah. You know? And every guitar player that I've ever admired didn't even want to be a guitar player. They wanted to be a drummer first. Right. You know? Yeah. And then they found out that it wasn't really their thing. And because they wanted to do like you're doing and incorporate, you know, their vocals and learn how to, like, write songs as well. But if you don't know how to make beats, you're really handicapping yourself. And it's another thing that I really admire that you guys do in, like, the whole music production side of things, is because there's not as many producers as y'all think there is. Like, people that actually get on the computer and know all the technical stuff. And, like, people get on there and fool around with it sometimes. Sure. But, you know, not everybody knows, like, everything about Logic Pro. Not everybody knows everything about, like, the post side of things when it comes to actually producing music. And there's a lot. It's a lot. It's really in depth. And so, like, what I see now is people doing recording, and what I'm wanting to do with my friend Gentry is she just wants to record the acoustic and the vocals and then hand it off to a producer online. Like, if you go on Fiverr, you pay somebody like $500, they can add all the different tracks and make it seem super seamless. Yeah. If you record one where you're, like, singing and playing at the same time, and then send one where it's just your voice and one where it's just the guitar track as clean as you can get it, then that gives them a lot of leeway as far as what they can put together for you. Yeah. I think the biggest problem in any industry is not knowing how to, like, delegate things properly. Yeah. But it's also hard to do that when you don't have the money to do. Like, you doing everything here for local Earshot, like, you provided all this, man, and you've done, like, an outstanding job putting all this together. I don't know of any of my friends that still actually do a podcast every week, you know? So it's cool that, like, some people are able to kind of, like, really bring it all together and then bring other people in to actually sit down and record things too, because not everybody really does that. And this isn't just, like, a form of, like, advertising for just anybody. This is people that actually care about what's happening locally and what people need to see happening in the music scene, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sorry. My cat just tried to destroy everything. So
I saw that.
Yeah, she like jumped on stuff, and I don't know what got recorded and stuff. So it's like recording. But anyway, but I'll be able to fix it in post. But yeah. I was trying to listen to everything you guys were saying, and I was like, shit.
No, you're good.
It's just like in a moment. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think a big part of that too is like what you're talking about, like everybody tries to do everything themselves, right?
Right.
And a big issue with that in content creation and all that kind of stuff too that people run into in the music industry in general is like they'll say like things like, "Oh, well, I don't need a manager," or I don't need a photographer, I don't need an attorney, you know, I don't need these things," and then they get fucked. Oh yeah, over and over again, and then they go, well, the music industry is just corrupt and all this shit, and it's like no, there's literally about 10 to 15 career fields that you're trying to do all yourself, and if you are trying to do all that work yourself, you're not actually going out and actually trying to be that, because if you were, then you would actually like be trying to seek out those individuals and learn from them. And learn how they can help you. Because I've seen many artists inside the groups and stuff that I run and all this kind of stuff online that they, like somebody will say, "Hey, I'm an artist manager. I have, 15 years experience in it. I'm looking for some artists to like sign on to actually help and stuff like that. My fees are like 15%. 15% is standard, industry standard, but it's also not that bad compared to 20%. And if you're artists, like some of the bands that I've worked with, 15% on a show that they got paid $30, what they fucking do? I made $3. I'm rich, you know.
Right.
Like it's not like that's the thing. Going into it in that career field as a manager, that thing people think that you're just going to go around ripping people off. Literally, you're not making much. As like they're not making much, and in today's society, and the record label stuff, you're not making money on sales on records anymore. That it's 5,000 plays to even equal to a good amount of like even a small portion of money on like Spotify. Like you have to have a lot of plays, and so I mean, and so like they'd say, okay, well, how do you get that out there, right? And I mean, you could take a song like what you're talking about, and you can make a video on TikTok. And with that same release, the same time you release it, no matter how you put it together, you can make a video on TikTok, release that same song, and you could blow up possibly. Mm-hmm. Or you could get on Facebook and say to your 8,000 friends, whatever it is that you're at, what a level of following that you have on there, and you could say, "Hey, I have this new song." But then Facebook does exactly what you were talking about, where you got to spend money. They want boosting. They want you to pay to play. They want people to see it. You have to pay it. So like you have to pay the piper, and if you don't do that, then they're never going to see it, and then you're just going to be sitting back there going, "Well, no one likes my song."
Right.
And it's in real truth, it's not that they didn't like your song; it's the fact that they never got to see it.
Exactly.
And that's the problem. Is that's where that constant content creation of there. I was actually reading an old post that I wrote whenever our show almost fell apart, and in it I put down that like that being online is like that world is constant creation. You have to constantly create, and that's why people see me like. You guys can keep on talking.
Well, one thing that I wanted to tap on, I think it's really awesome with you as far as like songwriting, because that's something that I've been wanting to like kind of dive into myself. I'm actually writing a book on poetry.
Nice.
And I'm trying to make it like 300 pages for some reason.
Wow.
Which is not like realistic, but I'm thinking like if I have 300 pages, that can be whittled down to whichever one, because each poem is like on one 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, so it's like one whole page. Mm-hmm. But it's like a letter. It's not like a full-on story or anything like that, and it's not really short poems either. They're 2 to 3 paragraphs each for each one. And a lot of the writing that I've come to find is just for therapeutic purposes only. I never really thought about like releasing something.
Yeah.
But then I've come to find out that a lot of the poems that I've written about for some people aren't really in my life anymore. So I figured like I'm just going to go ahead and write as much as I can and then just share it with whoever and go through the proper channels as far as getting it published and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to hurt anything. The hardest thing, though, just like in that and the same with releasing a music, it's really awesome that we can create so much stuff and put anything on Spotify now versus like having to go through a record label only.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how much y'all have heard about like Warner Brothers and how much they've ripped people off over the years, but it's
a lot of people look
crazy.
at our current, state of things in a pessimistic fashion, but I really try to overlook that and just realize that we have so much opportunity now. And there's a lot that's out there, but if you do go through the process of like trying to figure out what you're good at and you do find it, then you have just as good a chance as ever to like let that be seen. And going back to kind of what you were saying though with like social media, like I think it's just important to just like plug away like what you're saying. But you don't always have to boost. I mean, it's good if you can, if you have the money to, and eventually, boost the things that are important, but build a foundation first. So that way, when you boost something, people have somewhere to go, and they look at your page and they say, okay, I want to be a part of this. He's doing something,
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now, is just like really trying to build that up, because I haven't been the best at posting, but I've gotten better over the last year or so, and just like trying to like build a place that people can go and say, oh, I like this, I like this, I like this. Okay, follow. Versus like having just like some kind of amateur stuff or something that's just like not even based on what you're doing. Maybe you're a musician, but half of it's about your cat, and it's like nobody cares now when they see that you release this song or this video and they go and it's all about your cat. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like you got to build that foundation. And this isn't stuff that I'm coming up with. This is just all the research that I've done and figured out. I like the Burstamo music podcast, and like Damian Keys is really good if you know who those people are.
I know Damian Keys.
And that's cool. I didn't even know that you guys had Gentry Council on. I'll have to go and listen to that episode.
Yeah, what is it? Gentry, Megan Marlene, was it a Nikki Jackson, Scott Dammit, which sang the song on the intro. Those all people are pretty active in the like open mic scene.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Like a lot of them are in that scene.
I'm actually going to get out and do some more open mics. I've been deciding over the last like week. I'm going to get back out and do it. I did like 10 open mics in 10 days, like a few months back. But I'm going to get back out and start doing some more of those.
Yeah, it's fun. I actually like going to open mics just to sit down and just hear new artists. And,
it is fun.
And kind of see what they're writing and kind of the style here, because you know places like Nashville and all that kind of stuff, it's pretty common, like every night, that there's always something like that going on. Whereas a lot of those writers that actually are in Nashville, they actually come from Oklahoma, and they just leave here because they feel like that they're not making any headway out here.
Yeah.
And I in a way kind of think that that's kind of sad, because like, I mean, it is like people try to do this dance where they say that there's a scene here and there's not a scene here. And I mean, I had a thing where I said lack thereof, and somebody tried to correct me on it, and it's like, well, the way I look at it is that when I was in Colorado, I lived there for 5 years, and I was ingrained into the EDM scene. I also worked at Live Nation. So while I was there, I was in venues all the time. I was literally managing and like with other team members events, and and I started out as like an event person, worked myself up into like a little bit mid-level, and then the next level up for me was like the venue manager, and then my boss, which was like this woman that's like freaking amazing, at doing her job. She manages like the Pepsi Center and like all the major venues across Denver now, and it's because they went all in house at Live Nation. But when I was there, I had a buddy that did a lot of photography stuff, and he worked for a company called a group. It was called Got Bass Music, and so we'd go to a lot of shows. And on a Tuesday night, you could go down to Denver and you could go in a room and you would see 100 people in that room.
Yeah. You
go into a room here in Oklahoma City and that capacity, and you will see 3. You will see 3 people in that night. On the weekend, you'll see that place packed, but during the week, you will see like 1 or 2 people, 3, 4 people in a night. Like a lot of artists will say that, oh well, nobody's coming to our show. It's on a Tuesday night
in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Right. And it's like well, yeah, because like it's during the week. And people out here, a lot of them are doing different types of jobs, oil rig, things like that. Like they do certain types of jobs out here that I don't think that they got the time to even, other than the weekend, to be able to go out to shows. Yeah. But it's like, but to say that there is no scene, I say that there's a scene here. It's just, it's so branched out. Like, I mean, there's stuff going on in Norman every night, but I don't want to have to drive 45 minutes to Norman every single night or every weekend to be able to catch a show. And so like I try to follow certain venues here that do stuff most of the week, so I can get out and just go to some shows. But yeah, like a big part of that too is like we were talking about content creation and stuff, is marketing in social media. And it's like, if you don't market your show, then there's a big possibility no one will show up. Some places say, oh well, that's the venue's job. Some of these artists have said this, and I said, it's not. It's your job. Like you are the artist. You want people to come up for you. So it's not just them, right? they're part of it, but it's not just them. And then it's like, and then it's not just the promoters, the venue, all these people. Everybody needs to be promoting, period. And yet, like that, they always like try to say that they put another thing, and then nobody shows up. And then you have comments where people are saying things like online where it's so negative, where they'll be like, well, people really actually cared about my music, they would show to my show and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, you'll go to their page and you won't see anything. You won't see nothing marketing it. You won't see anything about, nobody knew about it. They never DM nobody, and then
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and they'll say that,
yeah.
but then you'll go, but then like, you'll
it's like,
get,
what did you do?
What did you do?
Yeah, you can't have expectations without any, without any actual work put into it. But yeah, speaking of promoting your shows, I mentioned Norman Twilight Market. Mm-hmm. I am playing there this November 25th.
Okay, awesome.
And so, yeah, I mean,
you have any other shows coming up?
Can come check that out. Not really.
Okay.
To be honest with you.
But you're open though.
I've been working so much more on just recording, producing songs, getting the band tight, and just content. And I've started to like make this mindset shift of like, okay, you can go play a show, but like, what does that do for you if you're not like consistently doing that, and it's not like really important to you? Like, what are you building from that? Like, I've played shows and then like not got no followers from it, like, and there was plenty of people at the show, and,
right.
And so it's like, what are you building? Like, is it important to you? Like, and that's, I mean, shows are great. I'm not saying I don't want to play shows. I'm just kind of taking a break as far as like, I want to focus on like having something for people to go to when I do go play shows.
Right.
Like, okay, if I play a show, now people can go see my social media and see that I'm doing stuff actively on there. They can go to Spotify and see that I have, a lot of music, and they can go, and I do have a merch store, Canon Lee Records, on Etsy. .com, where people can buy merch and stuff. But like, having all these things that people can go to whenever you build something, and then it just like you just tear it down after the night's over. Like, what's the point?
Right.
So I do want to play more shows, but I want to have a place for people to go whenever I do play those shows, and to like continue to snowball that effect. And like, you're rolling this snowball down the hill, and it continue to accumulate followers, and continue to, because you're doing all the other things right. So I'm just trying to do all the other things right, and kind of have, something for people. Plus, I mean, you look at you have to follow trend. Like, if you want to be successful in something, you have to, I say trends, but I don't mean like be trendy and do like dancing videos on TikTok.
Right.
What I mean is like, we should be like putting our music into like some sort of digital content for people to consume, and building our followers, building our fan base in that way. Because now when we do go play a show, because it's just like, this is a revolving cycle. Like, I'm coming back around full circle here, because it's like, okay, now that I have all of these followers, all of this content, now I go play a show, and guess what? People are going to show up. There's going to be a lot of people there. And so I'm trying to like wrap my head around all this, learn from all the people that understand all this, and consume all these good podcasts and stuff, and figure all that stuff out and do it the right way.
And I think it's awesome. And I think they would be better, like whenever you try to post a story or something on Instagram or Snapchat, it brings up like a list of different songs that you could use. It'd be cool if there was a way to incorporate that with like people locally or close to you. Like, if you could pull up music that way from like local artists, like especially the people that travel, that do traveling vlogs.
You can, if they post their stuff to Spotify.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of them don't. Like, I love Gentry to death, but she's only got the one album on there, and she's got like 10 followers. Which is crazy to me, because everybody and their dog I know knows Gentry. Yeah. Which is kind of crazy. Yeah. So like there's something to be said for word of mouth. Don't get me wrong. Totally. Especially like for a great live show. But in this day and age, like I'm really secretive. I just post stupid shit on Facebook. It's not really like my gig to be out there and be
Yeah.
known by anybody.
Right.
But versus like other people that I think like this and like Gentry need to be known for everything that they do, and you yourself included.
I relate to Gentry in that way though, where I'm just like looking at my stuff. I'm like, everybody that I talk to says you got to keep doing this. Like music is your thing, and I'm like, you know what? That's why I'm doing it, because I see that too. And then it's like, but you know, people want to be able to like go consume more of your music, and it's like I have like, you know, 50 original songs that are all like bangers in my opinion, and that's because I've written thousands and solidified them and plucked the gold out, and then but like I don't have all those, like you said, to like go and listen to, and so that's kind of the empire that I'm trying to build right now that I'm talking about.
And I think like with the lightning in the bottle thing that you mentioned earlier, the guy Oliver Anthony, dude with the long red beard with the old style, that's the only song he's ever written. It's the only song that he's played, and he only recorded the one video the one time. And I think it sets a unrealistic standard for a lot of people, thinking like that they're going to catch something. But at the same time, like
but
there's a few, right?
But not a lot.
Yeah. For what
that's his main one anyway.
Right, but he doesn't have like nearly as much content as so many other people that I do know that was able to like catch that and go on with it, because then other people started recommending it on their other platforms as well.
Yeah.
So it's really crazy the way that like certain things catch on and then they take off.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where a lot of people really need to look at the technical side of things as well. Like Gentry said that she was interested as far as like producing music too. But I think that she just needs to have somebody that's more tech savvy that can do all that for her. Like if people would just delegate a little bit better, I think that there would be a lot of, and actually follow through with what they say. The hardest thing I've noticed in Oklahoma is that you find a lot of people that say like, oh yeah, I can do this for you, and then they don't do it.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, and that's been like a big frustration with a lot of people. That's why they go to places like Memphis.
Yeah.
Versus here, and I'm not saying that everybody's like that, but you just come across people that like set false expectations for you.
Big time. And it's really unfortunate because a lot of those people are really talented, and like I've wanted to work with people and they're really talented but they never follow through, and it's like,
right, man,
you're hurting yourself, you're kind of you're tripping me up a little bit, like this isn't right, man. You gotta, if you want something, you gotta follow through in life. But what I will say is, like, with the delegating stuff, like, it is so important to do that. I agree. Like, find people that you can outsource jobs to that relate to what you're doing and that they can do far better than you, not just because they have more time, but they have more experience and more understanding around it. But at the same time, like, if you don't have the funds, if you don't, if you're not like at like, 50,000 followers, like, good luck finding somebody, to like help you with those things. So having a basic understanding of those things and being able to put that hat on and like actually do that job for like a couple hours a day is super important. Like, to be the manager thing for me is like, that's like what I'm like, I really need to improve a lot more and like get better at continuing to reach out to people and booking shows and stuff. But like, just knowing how to do those things and learning those things. And then like with like the, like content, like I'm not the best content creator, but I've learned how to edit videos and I'm starting to do more of it. And they're coming out all right, and it's just like doing those things is important, but like also like knowing how to like get on and off the fucking excuse me for cussing, but
no, you're good.
Like you like, cause like you can spend forever editing a photo, but just like going through, okay, this is the gradient I want, this is it, this is done, boom, get it out. And like, but like going and shooting something for a day and like getting all your content and just like, and then each day you have like, once you get in the process, what I found is it's not too hard to like put that hat on and do that job. You just have to like every day, like for me, it's just super helpful. I write everything down. Like I have a list of things that I do. And like, I have like my, my big lever moving tasks that I kind of go to that I'm like, okay, this, and this are like the 3 main priority things. But like there's small tasks within those that I need to complete, and just like going through and actually getting those things done, because like but if you don't have somebody else to do it for you, then you're not going to go anywhere. And that's the only way to get people to recognize you and to start wanting to do those jobs for you, is seeing that you're building something and that you're serious.
Yep.
And like you can't build it if like if you don't have, like if you're trying to build a house and you don't have a carpenter, an electrician, but you're a plumber, like and you don't have anybody else to help you, you're just gonna have to learn how to be those other handymen, and like
I've been learning
and do
everything.
Yeah. And then like when you start building houses, then you'll have the money, the resources, and the attention of people being like, hey, like I'll join in and help you out here, So anyway,
yeah,
that's how I feel about it.
No, I think it is important, especially like if you could take the time to learn some of those things yourself, versus like, but not fall into the trap where you end up trying to do 15 different things, kind of like what John was talking about earlier. Like you have to be able to help yourself in certain aspects. Some of the most talented musicians that I've ever met have never even touched a computer, let alone a smartphone. I've sat down with dudes that have played with B.B. King, and like dudes who are like legends in my eyes, but they're never gonna like, post on Instagram,
right.
which is kind of crazy to think
and
about.
It's again following the trends, and like, back whenever we didn't have TV or anything else, like you didn't like. First of all, you just didn't have the opportunity. Like, if you're a normal person, you just didn't have the opportunity to get your music heard. And so, like, now that you do, like, yeah, it's a big market, it's a lot broad, and, like, there's a lot of that's out there. But, like, if you're good at what you're doing and you can find your niche, and you don't have to, like, be the most incredible singer, you don't have to be the most incredible songwriter, but if you find that little thing that makes you special, and that's what Oliver Anthony did. He's like, okay, I can sing about, the economy and, the average man, and I can do it in this real soulful kind of raw voice that's really, like, his voice is a little bit off key sometimes even, but like it's got this grit to it, and it's just like, it's a kind of soulful, good voice, and it's just like unique. So he's this unique voice with this message that everyone can relate to. So he kind of like got this recipe,
Makes it real,
and it's authentic, yeah. And so, like anybody, he's a good example of like anybody can. It's just like finding striking gold, and recognizing it, and then like getting it in a good format like that, like outside with. Like in nature. Or
so you want to, you want to listen to the single?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I didn't even talk for like an hour. No, you guys are good. No,
this happens every time I come on the
always
show.
try to segue into it, but then I'm like, I don't know how to do it, because our conversations keep on going, because like good conversations will go forever.
Totally. And I consume so many podcasts that I have so much fucking shit to say. So.
I watch about, like you asked him, I listen to podcasts like every minute of the day. So like when he showed up, I was listening to one. So, this song is "Beneath the Willow" by Canon Lee. This is your newest single. When did you come out with this one? Like just like 2 days ago, right? Last Friday. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll play that, and then we'll kind of just go over like what's in the song, and like it kind of went together to make it grow and stuff.
Okay.
So.
that this was meant to be. You and me in this long lost memory. I know I'm not alone in this long lost memory.
Beneath the Willow by Canon Lee.
I gotta say, man, just from what I could hear, I took the headphones off for a little bit, but it sounded really good. I like the kind of tone that you have and what you bring to the song. It sounds really awesome.
Appreciate it.
Let's see, sorry. All right. So, kind of explain like where your process of making that song and where it all came from and kind of the story behind it.
That one started out as like something totally different. And I think that's important to note because I think so many people think that like, and sometimes my songs do come like full force, just like the I'm a Record song, just like all the lyrics and the melody, or at least most of it came like right away. But like continually perfecting your songs is so important, and like not being so rigid to like an idea that you had, it's like just being humble to the process of like, okay, yeah, this is something cool that I came up with, but is that like as good as it could be, So it started out with just like chords and like totally different lyrics, and the melody was there and everything, but the lyrics I changed. I don't know. And here's the thing is like, it's like I'm writing the song from somebody else's perspective. Like maybe it's from a long time ago or, but it's not really me. Like, like I wasn't under the willow tree with some girl or something. Like it wasn't like that. Like it's
not your story. It's just a story.
It's just a story. Yeah.
And I think spoiled it for us. Like, what the hell, man?
But I like that it's like that because it allows for my imagination to like wonder, like, who, it's not that I haven't experienced that. It's just like the willow tree part was like just like an add-in, and honestly it's kind of a metaphor, if you think about it, like beneath the willow tree, it's like, we shared like a sad and like, meaningful time together. And the willow tree, we were beneath the willow, weeping willow tree. It's just like, it's kind of like a metaphor as well. So it's like, it's not that I wasn't there. It's just like in that literal sense, like I wasn't, but like, I kind of like wrapped my head around that idea of like the willow tree being a metaphor, but, the lyrics are real simple and they're really nostalgic, just like, I remember you from way back when. And it's not about like a particular person, it's just about like different people in my past. And I understood too, when I wrote those lyrics that like, okay, like, and here's the thing is like, it's not that I was trying to write something for people, but that in writing something for myself, I started to realize that it could be for other people, and understanding that in that way, like it was enjoyable for me. It's not like I'm like trying to like do something so hard for somebody. It's like, just like, okay, well, if I'm writing music so that other people will hear it, then surely they should be able to relate to what I'm, doing here, versus like, oh, I'm going to write this pop song and it's going to be this structure and it's going to be these very vain lyrics that, it's like, it wasn't like that. It was that I realized that, it's something that people could relate to, and it's enjoyable for me to do that, and we get a lot of reward out of doing things for other people. I mean, as much, it's just like, it's a song and everything. It's not like I'm out here trying to cure world hunger, but like, still, there's that little bit of an element to it. And so,
We were totally expecting you to cure world hunger, man. Like we had these expectations of you,
yeah,
and
that
you
is
just didn't pull through.
If
that
I
is
make
a song that
enough money
solves
from it
all
all,
of the world's problems.
hey, if people go out here and like I get like a billion streams on these songs, then maybe we can make that happen, or at least make a dent.
Maybe
out of
one
it.
day, right? You
Yeah.
can be hopeful.
Yeah.
Be like, I want so much money in my life that I want to be able to give it all away. Like that's the goal.
I mean, isn't that though?
Yeah.
Like in all seriousness, like
I mean, kind of. But I think it was an interesting point that you brought up. It's really, really difficult to write things just in general for yourself, let alone songs. Like, because when you think about it, how many nice things do you say about yourself very often? Because like I can sit here and tell you nothing but nice things about Gentry and about you, and like all the things that I love about you guys. But like it's really hard to write things that are personal to you. Everything that I've been writing in this book that I'm doing in poetry, they're all like dedicated to people that I'm never going to see again, which is kind of a crazy way to look at it. Like I have the title, and then I come up with the word, and then I come up with the idea of how I want to explain it. But all of them are not even about me or for me. It's just like things that I wish I could have said that I can't say anymore.
I like that concept though, and that almost adds. That definitely. I mean, I haven't heard it, but like that definitely could add to the art.
Well, it adds a lot. Like a lot of the people that take off really well, like Bruno Mars has written so many songs. He did that one song "F You," and he sold it to CeeLo Green, so it wasn't even CeeLo's song. He just gave it to him. Because he thought that like, man, I think this would fit your vibe more than it would fit mine. And it takes a lot of character to say that, to say like,
Definitely.
man, I've got this song, I think it's going to be a banger, I don't think it's going to work out for me, but I think it could work for you. And to be able to collaborate with that, really, like the people that are the most successful in the music industry are the ones who are like humble enough to collaborate with other people that they wouldn't even think about.
Right.
Like with Rick Rubin doing that thing with Aerosmith and who was it? The rap band.
Run DMC.
Run DMC.
Yeah.
They came together and did a collaboration together, and it completely changed the way that everybody viewed hip-hop and rock and roll as a whole.
Right.
And that doesn't really happen very often. And it comes from the magic of collaborating with other people, especially in like the writing process, because there's not like, I don't get like super in-depth. I'll let you read some of it if you want to, but like it's really, it's something that I found to be very personal, but it was something that I wanted to say for somebody else. So I think,
cool,
like,
though.
as a note, it's a tip that I've learned that if you can't really think of something to write for yourself, writing for other people is just so easy. I don't know what it is. Especially, like if you take all the knowledge from hip-hop and you try to make up a country song. I met with this guy who could produce before, and he's like, oh, yeah, if we made a country song, I'm sure it would sound something like this. And he played it for me, and it actually sounded pretty good.
Yeah.
Because like, you don't think about like how... some things are going to come about.
Right. And I think it goes without saying that as long as you're enjoying it all. Because, like, that's another thing that Rick Rubin talks about, and that, successful songwriters and just, like, I mean, we should all understand anyways at the root of it all is, like, that if you're not doing it because you're finding fulfillment in it, then it's, like, pointless. Like, we only can... And this is another thing that I feel like goes without saying, but I say it all the time anyway, because I think we need to be reminded sometimes, is that we can only perceive things from our own lens. Like, we can't, like, jump inside somebody else's head and, like, see it from their point of view. So why the fuck do we care what they think anyways?
Right. That's a good point.
Yep.
That's solid.
So do we want to... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, I keep on interrupting because it's like conversation keep on going. Do we want to do the acoustic, play the acoustic, or do we want to just play the recording? Okay.
I can, yeah.
All right. Zombies on TV by Canon Lee. Oh,
yeah.
what was that? What was that?
Zombie. I don't know.
Ooh, Why was she trying to do fucking
like Disturbed or something?
Yeah.
No, but it's definitely appropriate for Halloween.
Yeah, it's a Halloween song. Go out there and spook some motherfuckers out.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
Take your time, or time will take it from you. It's just a dime, don't let it take you to Walk the line and they'll tell you just what to do. Don't mind your mind, 'cause you don't have a clue. Everybody's watching zombies on TV, but they don't see the reflection in the screen. I hate to sound rude, cruel or mean, but we're our own worst enemy. Yeah, we're our own worst enemy. Find the time, or time will find you first. Run or hide, you must decide which is worse. Your eyes are wide, but you're riding in the back of a hearse. Zombified by everything dispersed. Everybody's watching zombies on TV, but they don't see the reflection in the screen. I hate to sound rude, cruel or mean, but we're our own worst enemy. Yeah, we're our own worst enemy. Everybody's searching for the next big thing. They don't see what's right in front of them. We're all guilty of the same damn thing, but we have to love through thick and thin. Yeah, we have to learn to love again.
Awesome. All right.
That's terrible, man. It's just awful.
It is kind of terrible.
It's I mean
No, man,
it's
it was
grungy.
good. I liked
It's
it.
grungy,
It was
which is the best acoustics. The reason
Yes.
why we like to do acoustics on the show is because you can take a song, but whenever you take a song and you take it down right down to the bare bones and all the way down to an acoustic guitar, you really get the real sound of it.
Yeah.
And you can do all the little tricks and everything, but honestly, there's sure power in just playing acoustic music. So, as for the Local Earshot podcast, we are a value for value podcast. What that means is that we work on 3 tenets. That is time, talent, and treasure. I value everybody's time for listening. I know that there's a million podcasts out there, and there's a ton of more other music podcasts coming out. We are one of the very few across even the whole U.S. that does local music, and I'm currently connecting with a lot of different ones that do local music, and just trying to get on their shows too, so I can talk to them about their areas and like what's going on inside their scenes and stuff. Because I think that collectively, it's an uphill battle for local artists to be able to get to where they need to be and to get the help that they need to actually grow and become famous and everything. And so I'm hoping that, the Local Earshot is continually serving to do that for everyone. As for the second T is talent. If you're an artist and you want to be on the show, then you can reach out to me at john@thelocalearshot.com, or you can reach out on me on all social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and then I'm actually getting all my other socials up together. About to start launching the TikTok channel, which is going to be basically just promoting music in a different way. I'm going to have artists submit their music, and then I'm going to make little videos for them, so then they can actually put that on there to get more ears on all their music. And then the third T is treasure. So if you value what what we do here and you want to help support the show, you can go over to the localearshot.com and there will be a tab that says donate. If you click on that, I take crypto, I take Cash App, I take Venmo, I take all forms that turn into money, and all that money goes right back into the show. Currently investing in cameras and working on all of this video stuff and trying to figure this out. So collectively, I think I've already spent about $1,000 on all this. So I kind of want to get back my investment. So hopefully some people see that it's valuable enough to actually invest. If not, then I mean, at some point, as I've said inside the past, that I'm going to have to start doing advertising and part, sponsorships and things like that. I'm not big on doing ads, but I mean, if that means that that's going to be able to make it where I can keep on doing this to help the local scene and local artists, then I'm going to do what I have to do. So, thank you for listening, and thank you, Canon, for being on the show. Is there any shout outs you want to do?
Thanks for having me, man. And I really love what you guys are doing. This is really cool.
Thanks.
Shout outs. Let's see. I mean, that song just came out. You can follow me under Canon Lee or Canon Lee Simmons on whatever platform you'd like. I'm releasing another song coming out really soon. I just tracked it yesterday with the band. Awesome. It's called I'm on a Roll, and we've got a really exciting idea for the video. And so like I'm just gonna say it's gonna be a little bit wild, maybe a little bit dangerous even. But it's just an idea that I had that like really works well with the theme of the song. So, if you follow me on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube,
OnlyFans,
if you want the explicit content. That'll be me playing the guitar, with only the guitar.
It's only the guitar.
Only the guitar.
Yeah.
No clothes. There's a whole.
No any other bandmates.
There's a whole thing right there. We've got an idea here. This could work.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
my buddy has a picture of him that he did during a photo shoot that he's literally butt naked and all he has in front of him is his guitar. So
but
there you go.
Hey, in all seriousness, like I'm trying not to sell out and do all that. So like support me so that I can
keep on making music instead of selling out on OnlyFans.
Instead of playing the skin flute or whatever,
That's what we need you on, John. We need you doing the skin flute on OnlyFans.
Jesus.
See,
that's the content people want.
The majestic beard he's got. He's got a good head of hair and everything.
And if you keep on wanting to hear Wilson on the show,
which we know that you don't. It's okay.
Which I mean,
I'm not heartbroken about it. It's fine.
Yeah. I fired him once, so I'll fire him again.
It sounds like you really have your head wrapped around a lot of this stuff. I really appreciate your insight on some of this stuff. In all seriousness, aside from the skin flute part,
It's the only part I care about, but okay.
Jesus. All right. Well, thank you all for listening, and happy Halloween. And right after this, I'll be rolling a playlist that is all Halloween songs, all submitted by people in Oklahoma that are all locals, and they're all Halloween songs that are themed that way. So happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.